Hi, my name's Ryan, and welcome to AutoDice, the platform where you build your car and dealers bid for it.
My name is Kyle, and today I'd like to say thank you to Honda Day Source for giving us this opportunity to review a brand new 2021 Civic. The one that we're looking at here is the Touring trim in the beautiful Rally Red, which really sharpens the look of the car. So let's jump right into some aspects of the vehicle. First off, I'd like to say, Ryan, I don't know how you feel about this, but the front end of the vehicle, the hood specifically with the flare-up, I really find that just really stands out to me and really appeals. We also have the nice contrasting color with the grille, having it black versus the actual color of the vehicle, but not too much, so it's just a nice accent and not over the top.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I love the way the front of this car looks, Kyle. It's sporty. It's not overdone. It's a little bit classy. I love these chrome accents here, right? But one of the things that really pops out to me are these LED daytime running lights. Very sharp, very classy. Gives the car a little bit more of an upscale look. And then, of course, on this trim, we've got the fog lights here, which I also think add to the front end of the vehicle.
Absolutely.
Let's come on this way, Kyle. And so, of course, once we get to the side of the vehicle, one of the very first things that I notice are these really nice and large 18-inch alloy rims.
Yeah, well, the thing that's important about this is that though they are beautiful, this is part of the Touring trim. So if you're looking at some of the other trim levels, you're going to get either a smaller version of the mags or standardized rims.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. That's par for the course usually with trim levels, right?
Absolutely.
Let's continue this way. The next thing that really pops out at me that I absolutely adore is this crease that they've put here on the side of the car that starts at the A pillar, goes through the B and the C pillar here. I find this crease gives the car a classy look, makes it look sharper, and again, a little bit more upscale than traditional Civics.
Yeah, to that point about that classy look, a couple of other points that I think really bring that all together. We've got the rear view mirrors here, which again, it's a small detail, but they look really nice. They've got that sporty style curve to them, plus they've got nice little signal lights, little touch that just makes the difference. And the other thing relating to your crease point is that even the design of the windows as they flare out and then come back together towards the end of the vehicle, it really brings it all together in a nice appealing fashion.
Yeah, it's that kind of that fastback look as we head to the rear of the vehicle here. So let's come on back to the rear of the vehicle. And this is one of the points of contention that I've, generally or historically had with Honda Civics, right? So typically speaking, the rear end, the rump of Honda Civics are usually a little bit more bulbous. They stick out a little bit more. I think they've done a much better job on this generation where it's not as pronounced. I still don't love it, but it's also a matter of taste.
Absolutely. That's one of those things where people have always been in conversation about that particular part of Hondas. And like you said, it's going to be a matter of taste. You either like it or you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely not a deal breaker by any means, though, in my opinion. And then, of course, when we continue down here, we have this kind of continued strip of aluminum or chrome that's passing through the back, which, again, does carry on that elegant look of the car, right? And kind of ties in what we have in the front to the back.
I find one thing I'll point out, though, that I'm not a big fan of is the fact that we've got like this beautiful chrome, but then you've got these plastic vents, which just, doesn't really scream quality.
Yeah, and on this particular model here, which is the Touring,
that's right,
we have the dual tailpipes, correct?
That's right, dual exhaust. Again, another aspect of the trim. This is the fully loaded model, so on the lower ends, you're not going to have that. It's going to be single exhaust.
We're sitting here in the Honda Civic, and the first thing that jumps out at me is how comfortable of a place this really is, right? I'd say the seats here are probably amongst the most comfortable seats that I've sat in a while. And that's saying a lot. I feel like I would have no problems sitting in these seats for a drive from, let's say, Montreal to Toronto. That's about 550 kilometers worth of driving. The next thing that I notice here is the steering wheel. I like to put my hands on the steering wheel. It's leather wrapped. It feels good. I feel like it's the right dimensions. And so overall, I feel like the cockpit in this car is a snug and nice place to be.
Yeah, I completely agree. Some things that I noticed that really appealed to me is we've got the soft touch pretty much everywhere on the vehicle. You've got it on the console, top of the doors. You do lose it a little bit as you go down towards the bottom of the doors. You've got that hard plastic a little bit. I can notice it too on the back of the steering wheel and a little bit on the center console here on the bottom parts. But even the top is still soft touch. So, I mean, they did as much as I think they could possibly do. But once again, as usual, you're going to have a little bit of that hard plastic in the vehicle.
Right. Let's move on now to the digital tach and speedometer. So when you're looking straight at this, it's great. You got this big sporty tach right smack in the middle, and then you have the speedometer in the top right-hand corner. Very easy to read, very straightforward. I think this would be great when you're on the road. The next thing I really appreciate about this is Honda makes things so nice and easy to cycle through. Right, I don't have to go through multiple menus, etc. I just hit the button and it moves me to the things that I need to see, and I really appreciate that about Honda cars.
Yeah, and continuing to that point of simple usage for their technology, the center console infotainment system, so this is going to be what you're going to be accessing as the driver as well as for passengers, is very easy one-touch use. You've got your buttons on the side to bring you back to your main screens. You've got all of the different options. Something that I really like and I want to highlight is that this is the exact screen that you would have regardless of the trim level. Even though we are in the fully loaded and you do have the advantage of the GPS, which you wouldn't have on a lower trim, but the actual size of the console, the way it looks, everything is going to be the exact same regardless of the level of trim that you go for.
Right. And this is actually a 7-inch screen. So that's a decent size of screen real estate that you get even on the base trims.
Yep.
Right. And then also we have here dual zone climate control as well that comes on this particular trim.
Yep.
And Kyle, I know that they have wireless charging in this vehicle also, right?
Yeah, they do have the wireless charging pad, but again, that's a trim exclusive feature. It's not going to be on all of them. It's still something nice to mention and to be aware of, that Honda is starting to include some of those more technologically advanced features on some of the, the entry-level vehicles like the Civics and stuff. But again, it's important to remember that you're not going to have that on an entry-level vehicle, but it's there for the people who want to go for the fully loaded.
Right, and let's not forget, of course, the cup holders.
Yep.
Right? So if you're going to go on a 550-kilometer trip, you definitely need to stay hydrated. And with these cup holders, you can stay hydrated. They easily accommodate a water bottle, and for that Mickey D's craving, you can easily put a extra large Coke in there without any issues.
Yeah, another point too about it is that even if you don't have a Mickey D's craving and need that giant soda, you can get rid of your cup holders and use the additional space that you have available to you. You've got the armrest that's movable, a lot of adjustments for comfort. You were commenting about long drives. Those are important features if you're going to be driving a long time, is adjustments that can make you more comfortable.
Totally. And, speaking of long drives, you might want to be a little bit thrifty on your fuel consumption. If you are taking a long drive, tell us what this Econ button does here, Kyle.
So the Econ system is Honda's heading towards more of a green vehicle, consuming less gas. What it does is it prioritizes fuel consumption. So it'll reduce the amount the air conditioning is running, the RPMs on the vehicle, just a couple of little things that can really save you a couple of bucks on, that long distance drive.
Got it. Another thing to call out, super important, right? Of course, if you're someone who loves to catch the rays of the sun, we've got our sunroof on this particular trim level, right? So obviously power sunroof, easily operated here.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's take a look at the back seat of the vehicle. So something that I really want to point out about the Civic is that I'm 6 feet tall, and getting into the back seat is a really simple process for me. And that's pretty uncommon on a vehicle of this size.
Yeah, plenty of headroom here, despite the fact that it's a sloping roofline. No issues with the headspace. And you know what? I'm looking at you and I, Kyle, here, and we have ample room. And, if we wanted to add a third person here between us, it might be a little bit tight, but it is definitely doable.
Close friends only.
And then another thing I want to call out here is this trim level actually has heated rear seats.
Yeah, that's a pretty amazing thing to see on a vehicle on this level. Normally you have vehicles, obviously, that are going to have the heated seats in the front, but in the Civic, on the fully loaded, even the butts in the back are going to be warm.
Let's pop the trunk now and see what kind of space we're working with.
This trunk has 15.2 cubic feet of space. I'm very comfortable.
That's actually class-leading space. The next closest competitor is a Hyundai Elantra with 14.1 cubic feet. Right, Kyle, let's talk numbers and safety. As far as fuel economy is concerned, this car gets 7.9 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 6.1 on the highway, and 7.1 of combined driving.
Something that I wanted to bring up was also to Honda's Safety for All policy, which is any of their safety features that they have are available on all trims. So things like their ACE2 body structure, the crumple zones, emergency services deployed to the infotainment, and now they also have the Honda Sensing, which is like collision detection, lane departure warning. So regardless of which trim level you go for, you and your family are going to be very safe in the Civic.
Got it. And as far as motor choices are concerned, the base trim levels come with a 2-liter that produces 158 horsepower, and trims such as the Touring come with a 1.5-liter turbo that produces 174 horsepower.
All of that too, by the way, you start off with an MSRP for the LX model, which would be the 2-liter motor for about $23,400, going up from there, leading towards models like the Touring.
Which really, when you think about it, is incredible value for your money.
Absolutely.
Overall, the 2021 Honda Civic is a sensible car in a sporty package with perhaps a divisive back end.
Speaking to the interior of the vehicle, it's cozy, it's comfortable, well organized, and well equipped, something you could easily take a long distance drive in or use as a daily commuter.
Yeah, and overall, I just think the car offers a ton of bang for your buck.
Yeah, and we fully expect that trend of bang for your buck to continue with Honda as they're redesigning the Civic for 2022, so looking forward to their new design.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because for your next car, for your next Honda Civic, head over to AutoDice.com where you can build out your car, send it out over the platform, and have dealers bid for it. Get the best deal on your car at AutoDice.com.
See you next time. Thanks for coming by and watching this car review. Give us a thumbs up and a subscribe.
And as always, don't forget to leave your comments below.